Some of you might not know Bureau Veritas, so it's actually an almost 200-year-old company out of France. And a lot of you might say, what's Bureau Veritas actually doing? I know the brand, but what is it doing? So we are a global leader in the testing, inspection, and certification fields, which means we make sure that the trust that you bring towards products, if it's t-shirts, if it's airplanes, if it's buildings, if it's elevators, any sophistications, this trust is granted because the conformity is given. So our challenge is we have 80,000 employees in the field, which means they need to be able to do different sort of missions. They need to have access to information all across the field. So we look at this as a knowledge management task. Jules is a digital assistant for all of our employees to answer questions, to support, and it's powered by generative AI. So there are a lot of use cases that are practical. But think about daily work. You need to access a lot of knowledge around conformity of products, documentation, and best practices, and you need to be able to navigate millions of pages in a fast time, which takes a long ramp up on knowledge. So you need to be trained for a long time, you need to become an expert. And by using Gen AI, in that case Jules, you will be able to get this knowledge almost infused automatically and therefore answer questions that an expert needs to be able to answer. The vision that I have for generative AI in our field is a very bold one, because I think in a field where humans are essential. So our inspectors go on field, they assess situations like with the human brain. They need to sometimes improvise because not everything is as it is planned often. They need to assess, they need to capture information, and then they need to evaluate. I think this is a very complex task at scale, and I believe technologies like artificial intelligence, especially generative AI, gives you abilities to make sure the quality is better, the time that it takes you is better, and also the effort it takes you to handle a very complex situation becomes almost easier. So I believe it's a substantial technology to uplift the work our employees are doing, and therefore the quality and also the output for our customers. We just launched it last year as a beta and took it out of beta at the beginning of the year. So we have close to 10,000 users on a weekly basis active on the platform. So it's thousands of dialogues a day where people work with the generative AI system with Jules and get answers and get help in their daily work. Artificial intelligence for Bureau Veritas is a synonym for also knowledge management. And for us, Jules, the product which we have developed together with AWS and Anthropic, which is the main large language model which we're using there, is a framework. So it's not a chat assistant only, it's a framework which we provide to applications, to end users, either through an interface, like a chat interface, but also through an API, which we embed into our production systems, which are then able to interact with this large language model and the documentation information we uploaded there.